Welcome back to the channel, everyone. It has been some time yet again. Sorry about that, but as channels kind of motto goes, we'll record when we feel like it or when something big or major happens. This past weekend was YCS Las Vegas, and it was a fantastic 3v3 event. Daniel went. He's going to share his experience, his deck list, his overall matchup spread, and yeah, we're going to go from there. Daniel, please take it away.
Hi. Yeah, I played YCS Vegas 2026. As some people may know, that is Avengers Doomsday. I will elaborate on that. But on my end, I was player A, and I played Granite Jericho Tails. A lot of people would play this deck. I don't want to get too deep into it, but like you're gonna see a lot of this main deck, 38 cards. As you'll see from like up to the drop point, is probably exactly Jesse Cotton's like deck from YCS Bolivia. As or in most people's cases, this is the 38 card solved Draco deck everyone should be playing. Um, so like I'll get to some choices. Through Urgula, I think we still like decided that if we're all playing mirrors, that this card was just like the best card to break boards, bait out everyone's back row, and to make them flip their other cards, and whatever back row that's left, you pop it. That's like very good. So a lot of people decided to cut Horn again from this list because it's a 3v3. Me and my team, like our player B, we decided that Horn was just way too important against all the rogue decks, and just having the third trap when you only open Dracotail cards was like so important for that third draw, especially since like you're trying to draw like non-engine or like other Dracotail names. So it's really good. Another choice that a lot of people didn't do, which I think people should have done this weekend, was two Cartesia. We figured that like if everyone's just playing Wombo combo, then like everyone's gonna resolve for Wallows and it doesn't just feel that great. So I would just bank on my opponent just giving them two draws. Hope that's enough, and you set up like enough of a board that like you probably live. And the other thing that I liked about this deck, so I was originally on Nibiru for this event. And like I said, a forbidden droplet, but we decided to go back to droplet this because there was a lot of mirrors. So we put Nibiru in the side deck, and droplet it was pretty good. But like I don't personally like the card per se. It's only really good versus mirrors and like yummy. So that was just something that that was just based on like what Jesse was playing. This is what was solved. Now you're gonna see a notice in this deck list. There's a lack of Joel and Blackbird, and the reason why in my seat in particular was because I was given a deck list Thursday night, and essentially, long story short, Joel wasn't that person's side deck, and we ultimately realized, at least ultimately realized that like with Droll in this format, if everyone's playing Mirrors and Fiendsmith Yummy, the card's not gonna be that great, even though there was also an increase in Vanquish Soul this week and even combo decks. And you're going to see that I took the liberty of putting the imprims that were originally everyone's side deck back into the main deck because I wanted a better matchup spread into Fiendsmith Yummy and the Mirror. The reason is because against Fiendsmith Yummy, they're gonna always have Caesar, so you need a card that checks the two negates on that card, and Imprim kind of fit the resume really well. In the Mirror, you can also like imprint their Atholion if they're adding back, or if they have Secretary on the board, you're drawing as your six, they help you out that. So I think that's really good. But again, for Vanquish Soul particularly, I needed a card that was also like generic enough that would help, deal with that card. So Imperm kind of fit that category too. And a lot of my matchups when I was drawing Imperms, like going first, it was like really great especially when I bricked. So that card helped a lot. So that's like the 41 card deck that I played for this event. For our side deck, so there's three Perulia and three Meows. So Perulia, I think it now that everyone's back on Vanquish Soul this week, this card got a lot better. So I think that card was great, even though I didn't really draw it very much. Even the matchup spread too, it didn't really feel great. Um, and then the next card you'll see is Meows. So leading up to this event, I think it was Bolivia, right? Like or Guatemala. Um, I was getting a read on like there was a lot of like not Perulia decks. So that's and then you all saw what happened at the YCS. Like Malice and Mitsurugi was in first place's team. So like we needed cards for those decks. And then for my matchup specifically, I also played against Malice and Lunalight, which helped a lot there. Even though I didn't draw the card very much. But the point was is that I needed this in my side deck because post side against those type of decks, you need six chummies against all matchup spreads. And you're gonna see like again the next card Nibiru. I would want like Nibiru 5 mana Imperm as like my strategy to beat all those type of decks because draw is not gonna help you when this deck has a consistency issue, so you want as many like cards to draw and help you interact on their turn, so that when it passes to your turn, you have enough gas to like help to break the board. And this is the premise of the deck too. Dracotail's problem is like dealing with negates, so you need to like soften the board enough to where there's no negates on the board, and the rest of your engine can crack it. So having this type of more chummy strategy, I think, was extremely integral to like my success. The next six cards were like kind of the flex spots for going first and second. So there's two Fenrir and a Call by. Again with the Yummy deck in the particular this week, it's all hand trap wars. So like especially when they're not gonna resolve more Shummies, so you need like a card like Fenrir to check their normal summon to banish it, and they have to have extenders, which is I think very good. And then Call by was just a concession to like both Ash Blossom and Fawalos, as those are the two crutches in the mirror match that like, or even against this deck that will determine the tide of the game usually. And then this is the more skeptical card in my deck because like I didn't have access to it originally until my teammate Seabass got them for me, which was Illusion Gate. Um, so this card literally is just Regeki and Monster Reborn, right? I'm testing this card's really good if your opponent just summons the Secretarian because they have to, which means that like when you play the mirror, and you have like I don't know, this card plus like Droplet or Fall of the Virtuous, you're able to like steal the Secretarian, and then like they can never Secretarian on you because they're only playing one. And in our case, since we're playing two, we can like turn the tide sometimes in outgrinding them. Having your life points doesn't happen very much because the games like don't last that long. So I think this card's fine. And then Duster, obviously, because you need to kill the background of the mirror. The extra deck is pretty much solved. The only thing uh that's like not standard is the two Secretarion, and that's just because the mirror match was like so apparent that like you need an edge in the mirror, and this was one of the few ones that like you can make a concession to. Um, and this works better with like Cartesia in the sense that, especially when you're eight locked, like this is like one of the best cards you can make, so that you can check the mirror. Um, and that's my deck list. But now I want to talk about though how the tournament ran. So in my tournament, I was given a 2 round VIP buy. So that means that like I had two buys for the tournament. So I only had to play I think 6 rounds day one. So round three I played the mirror. Um, Yeah, I just drew better. He drew traps going second, so I won. Round four was Vanquish Soul. Um, yeah, he just had Holy Sweet Fire Dark when I drew Imperm, so like that didn't help. Yeah, so it's just bad. Round five was Fiendsmith Yummy. My match was I think 30 minutes long for game one. But the thing is that my by the time I started siding for game two, my teammates both lost. So yeah, I couldn't even play that card out. Round six was Vanquish Soul. Fun fact: I played this guy at regionals before, so I know how his power level did. Luckily, I won, so like we're good. Round seven was Malice. He shifted me game one, so I died, and then game three, going second. I had meows, but like he had die fight plus shifter, so I just like died like immediately. It was just so bad. Then round eight was Lunalight. Luckily, I won the roll. We go to game three. He ashes my Rahu, and I have Imperm with Flame set. So I what is it? I Imperm his Gold Leo, and he just sets one and passes. So I'm like, all right, I'm back. So I just kill him. Then round nine, I play versus Shanghai Shark Team. Shout out Jason Bai. But yeah, again Vanquish Soul. I just get high rolled. Like this that was like, the whole purpose of this tournament was like I played the more Vanquish Soul than my teammate, so like that was expected during this tournament. So like if I play versus that deck and that deck won the roll, I just lose. Um, Outside of that, I think that's it. Like this tournament was like really interesting. There was just a bunch of rogue decks. But like if you were in like VIP, you played more meta than usual, or like combo deck. So it did, otherwise, like I played a standard list. I'm not happy about it, but I'm glad it got the job done for this tournament.
Remind me again what team you placed at.
After day one, I placed 70th after Swiss. So because my team lost round nine and we have VIP, our tiebreakers carried us.
Nice, 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 nice. And then, there's a couple parts I'm really curious about. So, was Fender really just like really, really broken going into this format, or like I feel like we're kind of approaching the end of this, expecting a ban list pretty soon. How do you feel
Right.
about Fender moving forward?
I think it's like stage of the format dependent card. So like I'm gonna be honest, I actually like shared ride more in like as I played Draco in the last like few months. And the reason is because when you're Ash, the especially when like your Rahu Draco gets ashed, you need cards to like help you get back in the game. And this one was like one of Fenrir was when a way to check the Fiendspit Yummy deck, if they're gonna hand check you to death. As that this card is banishes Cupsy for the most part, so they have to have like an engraver or like some type of extender, right? Um, I think this card's okay. I'm not a fan per se, and then especially since like I main deck called by, um, or side deck called by per se. I only got to fit in two, so like maybe there's a world where like I play like not called by and just play the third Fenrir, and like a lot of my side decking patterns would change, or like because I just opened the card more, I probably would survive like going first a little bit better. Um, but overall, yeah, I prefer for sure Red over Fenrir for the most part.
Okay, so there was another card that was questionable in your side deck that you had mentioned. Illusion Gate. Would these have been shed ride potentially, or do you feel like Illusion Gate did
No,
its job?
no. So that slot in particular has to be Lightning Storm. And it's funny because me and my teammate Sebastian, we were skeptical about that card too because we were looking at Jesse's deck for the most part for this tournament, and like we had to like learn the truth Friday, um, in testing. Like when we got the illusion gates, and long story short, that card's really good in the mirror. But if we're talking about like matchup spread, right, for this tournament, like I think I'd still prefer Lightning Storm because like I want to get rid of like dimensional fissures and like just the back row in the mirror because monsters don't really matter unless it's Secretarion.
Gotcha, gotcha. And then, elephant in the room question for me at least. Uh, I in playing in OCG very soon, slash AJ English, whatever you want to call it. I'm a bit curious on how you see Drake Kutel moving forward going into Kultun.
So that's the tricky question, right? Like funny enough, TCG is due for a ban list. So a lot of like the way this deck has to play is going to be very different when hits are revealed. So at least in TCG, rumor has it like we think Urgula is going to go to one because this is the deck's grind game, and it lets like all the decks that this deck can go second more efficiently into like all boards. So having that card at one will basically you have to play three pan, which is like a bad idea for most decks.
Can you explain that a little bit, elaborate a little further on why 3 pan is bad?
So three pan, like okay, so that card has to like trigger in like very like on destruction, right? And long like the card is good because it summons back Lucius or Malulu. But if everyone is just knows this deck very well, everyone just has like non-target, non-destruction removal, right? So this card never triggers. So which is why the card's at one. So if you kind of have to play the card at three, sure you're destroying monsters going second, but in reality, it's the back row in these formats that like are more important, and like the recyclability of like your Urgulas makes it so that you can always add back Fimena or like Lugias for Frixel. And then if the card if Urgula is at one, then like you have to use the traps to add it back, which is like super neg, which means that you didn't get to traps loop your traps basically.
Got it. And then, speaking of the entire branded engine of this deck, we do have a ban list coming up fairly shortly. At least I'm in the belief of that. Where do you see branded hits going as this deck moves along and we approach a new format?
So a lot of people meme about Branded Fusion going to zero, and you're probably right because that card is just really good, and I don't think the pure Branded deck doesn't need it anymore. But the thing is that like this card is like it fusion locks you, right? So like the way this deck has to play out is like if you don't know the ins and outs of this deck, like you the deck struggles, right? Like it's just pilot, it's like skill diff. But there's a world where like Rahu Dracoto goes to one, and then Branded Fusion goes to three as like the next starter, which is like I think balances the deck out because like you have to play the deck in a specific order this way. So I don't see like I do see this card is like that powerful, but at least in like the Dracoto deck, like it's not as good as people think it is, even though like um if you play certain targets, the card gets more powerful. Like so, like a card I missed this weekend was Lubellion because I really needed Malulu to resolve, like, and then like summon Chaos Starforce Dragon to like pop their cards. Like it was just another like thing that I like because of the how the deck was created and from previous like weeks, like we kind of had to just take people's word for this.
Got it. All right. I don't have any more questions. You want to wrap it up? Keep it short today?
Sure. Hey, like so this tournament was like really weird because everyone got a lot of double losses. Like, and this is why like top 128 was X4s, which is outrageous, right? Like, there's just no way that people should do that. But because it did, like, yeah, like Konami, please fix that. Um, but I personally like I played this deck because my teammate wanted me on this, but there's a lot of things that, I did not like. Like, maybe I probably should have played my teammates list where, like, he played a third fall on the versus in the call by instead of the imperms, and then, like, that's a clean 40. But I think for what, this deck was, like, somewhat rushed, I'm kind of glad I made the 3 imperm for the safest security and, like, my mental for the tournament. Because if that wasn't the case, I think I would be struggling a lot more. Um, maybe the illusion gates could have been lightning storms, but like we're kind of glad that we played illusion gate because there was one game versus Pyramid Tsurugi. My teammate um had double illusion gate when his opponent had impulse, and that won him that round. So like we're kind of glad that in this case it was illusion gate. Um, yeah. Dragotail. Yeah, we saw in the final. This is still the best deck in the room until a banless happens.
Any
So
any last minute shout outs, teammates, people you met?
Uh, Shadow Sebastian. Without him, I don't think I'm able to just be at Vegas. Like he took care of everything for me. Like please, 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 thank you. Shout out Johnny. And Rosario from Johnny's Angel Project CCG. My favorite local. Like actually, my motivation for them is I want to win a YCS. Like for them. So um, shout out Nico, Alan Tran, like that was the other like VIP team that like from Legion and like OC that like I thought to well. Also shout out like Donovan Win and Antron, like the also VIP teammates that like also made it through for day 2. So like you could just see like all the people that I've been playing with, we all made it far. So like it was very good to see. Um Shadow Ryoya because that guy actually helped me out Tuesday to help me play the mirror because like I personally think after playing Pasadena regionals I was very inexperienced in the mirror or like I thought I was just getting sacked a lot but in reality I was getting sacked and it just turned out like with the way the mirror is like you just be better honestly like no matter how many tech cards you have so I originally just had to go with the flow and play a standard deck for this weekend and it kind of worked out so yeah, thank you.
All right. Take care, everyone. Expect some Asia English and OCG content coming your way from my side of the world. I ordered a bunch of cards and I attempted. Okay, I don't know if Gem has ever done this. I've attempted to buy the new Gem Senjo Jade. I don't know how they're gonna ship it over to me. I paid $40 in shipping, so fingers crossed that it can make it across the pond to me in the Philippines. But outside of that, expect slightly more different content outside of these episodes that we've been doing for the entirety of the channel. I might post Master Duel highlights. We'll see. But outside of that, thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe as always, and share the word, spread it out. Maybe we'll care more if people watch. Jokes
Seriously.
aside, though. Jokes aside, though. Thank you guys for participating in our a little rant, ramble, whatever you wanted to call it, discussion even. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode if we do one in the next 6 months. All right, take care, everyone.